Hello, everyone, and welcome to Big League Dreaming, the podcast, a show about fulfilling your dreams and taking it to the next level. We're so excited that you're joining us here today. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, this is a show with a dad and his three sons talking about the game of baseball, maybe reliving the glory days sometimes, but most importantly, sharing stories and doing interviews with people that we love and respect throughout the country that are keeping this great game alive. I am John, the dad, and joining us today is son number one, Zach. How you doing, Zach?
Hey, doing well. Excited for baseball season coming up quick here.
Yeah, I just I was watching all spring training games today. Came home a little early from work and been glued to the TV, catching up the latest. Who got sent down, who made the roster, who's injured. I mean, it's that kind of that frenzy before the season starts. Son number two is Ty Gonzalez. Oh, I should say Zach is the Mariners fan. I'm the Tigers fan. Zach's the Mariners fan. Ty is son number two. He's not with us today, but he's going to be joining us here via message on the show. He is the Mets fan. And then Zane, who can't be here with us, but will join us via the Zoom call as well with a message from him. He is son number three. He's based in South Bend, Indiana, and he is a Red Sox fan. Zach is in Charlotte, North Carolina. Although someone today, Zach, said Charlotte, North Carolina. I started laughing about that. Michiganders will tell you there's a Charlotte, Michigan. So they get confused when they see Charlotte and Charlotte. But Ty and I are based in Grand Rapids. So, Zach, I'll let you kind of take over the reins here because we have a guest not too far from you there in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, really excited for this one today. Speaking of Charlotte, we have Tommy Viola from the Charlotte Knights. So Tommy, thanks for coming on. I know you've been doing the minor league baseball life for a long time, so ready to hear your insight and thanks for hopping on and chatting with us.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, thank you guys so much for having me on. Really appreciate it. Always love talking baseball. Anytime I don't look like it's baseball season. I'm a little bundled up today, a little chilly up in the press box, but love talking baseball and appreciate you guys getting me on today.
We love your Twitter feed because you're always teasing us with your view from the press box. Yeah, your view from your studio, from your office. And it looks gorgeous. The ballpark always looks gorgeous. What a beautiful ballpark you have.
Oh well, thank you. This view, I've been in the same seat for many years. This is the 10th season of this beautiful ballpark, Truist Field here in Uptown Charlotte. Been sitting in the same seat for 10 years. I've seen this city really just come together and grow over these past 10 years. My view has changed a lot. There's more buildings than there once were, but it's a great view. I look out at this beautiful ballpark every day, and I just feel blessed to be able to come to work at this beautiful ballpark.
Well, the way this show goes is about Big League Dreaming, the podcast. We talk to players, coaches, broadcasters, people in the front office. That's my computer going crazy. We'd like to ask them about kind of their early days, where they got started, and how they get to be in their roles. I mean, you're in your 17th year of minor league baseball, 12 years there at the Charlotte Knights. And I'm sure you have a long history and a long story to share with us. And Zach, you get to work with Tommy every once in a while, right?
Yeah, you could say that. No, I was lucky enough for Tommy to bring me in and have me help out up in the press box. He kind of mans the show up there, so trackman, pitch clock, scoreboard, whatever. I tell Tommy whatever you need me to do, man. I'll be here, ready to go. So yeah, it's been awesome working up there with those guys.
Very,
Yeah, it's
very
been
cool.
great having you. I mean, you've jumped in. You've been here for a number of years now, and whether it's pitch clock or scoreboard or TrackMan, we used to do. You're a jack of all trades. You're a Zach of all trades, and
Right.
really appreciate it. See what I did there?
Yeah. Well, Tommy, let's hear your story because I believe you are from Queens. Is that right? Or the Bronx?
Oh, oh well, my favorite baseball team plays in Queens. That's the New York Mets. But no, I was born in Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn. Okay.
Yeah, born in Brooklyn, New York. Lived there for for really the early years of my life, and then my parents decided to move us to the Poconos in Pennsylvania, and never did become a Pennsylvania fan of any of the sports teams. Always stayed true to my New York Mets, my dad, my grandfather. Since 1962, since the Mets started. So, been a long time Mets fan. But for years I've now been working in baseball on the other side of things, and became a White Sox certainly fan of theirs over the years with all the stuff that they have done here with the Knights. But just love baseball. Grew up playing baseball, of course, Little League, and just been the biggest baseball fan. And the opportunity to work in it all these years now has just been it's been a dream come true.
What position did you play as a kid in Little League?
Oh yeah, well in Little League, it's funny. I mean, you see me. I have a I have a beard. I had a beard when I was like 11 years old. So they used to have to check my birth certificate in Little League. I was a pitcher. I was striking everybody out, and they didn't know I was. They thought I was too old. But so I was a pitcher back in Little League days, and then third base. And just loved baseball. Loved watching it. So many great memories. Watching it with my grandfather and my dad. And when I first started in Little League, I wanted to be a catcher like my hero Gary Carter, and he was my baseball hero for as long as he played. And while I didn't catch, I changed positions. He's still someone to this day that I still look up to as my first hero in baseball.
And did you get a chance to play in college?
Yeah, so it was funny. So for my college days, I listen. Going to high school in the Poconos, I tried out for the team many times in high school, and for whatever reason, and we'll kind of keep that. But didn't make the high school team. But then in college, for my first 2 years, I went to Penn State, and I went to a branch campus the first 2 years, Penn State Hazleton, and myself and a number of my friends that went to that school, we all made the baseball team there. We played 2 years at Penn State Hazleton, loved it. And then we moved out to the main campus in State College, Pennsylvania. Didn't play out there. Knew the coach, though, because I actually, in my high school days, used to go to Penn State baseball camp. I did that for a couple of years and got to play on the Penn State field and everything like that. But baseball was always a dream to play, and that's all I ever wanted to do. And really, until I found out that there was other jobs in baseball that I could get to do, and that's when really things started clicking for me. When I found out that I like to write, I want to be a journalism major. How can I tie this into baseball? And as you said earlier, here after all these years, I'm still living that baseball dream.
Yeah, I know you can relate to that, right? Being a journalist yourself. I don't know if I said to our listeners, but Tommy is the VP communications, media relations guru for the night. So Tommy gets to meet a lot of awesome people, has seen a bunch of players come through, ex-major leaguers come down and play for Charlotte. So Tommy, question for you. You've met a lot of people, even outside of baseball, like celebrities, because they'll bring in celebrities to the nights, and you get to coordinate a lot of that stuff. Do you ever get starstruck at this point, or can you remember a time, even maybe earlier on in your minor league career, where you were just like in awe of who you got to meet in person?
It's a good question. I mean, you're right. I mean, one of the cool things about the job is getting to have celebrities here throughout the years. And over the years here in Charlotte, there's been a lot. Me being a Mets fan growing up, I mean, having Mookie Wilson here, having Darryl Strawberry here was a big one for me. Introducing them to my dad, which was really cool. Someone that grew up watching baseball as well. But we've had so many great ones. I don't know if there's one that I would say really stands out. I mean, we had Lou Piniella here. You would have liked that one, Zach.
I know, I just missed that one.
Yeah, so he was great. I love all the celebrities we've had. We've had some really good celebrities over the years. Mr. Belding from Saved by the Bell was one of my favorites. Got to get pretty friendly with him over the years. Great guy. We've had a lot of professional wrestlers here. Big wrestling fan. So that's always been really cool for me to have some of the former wrestlers, Million Dollar Man, Ted DiBiase, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and those are really cool. So I don't know if there's one in particular, but just the fact that I get to spend some time with celebrities, and that's always been a lot of fun.
Well, Tommy, I'd love to know, just when you made that transition, you had to give up on your dreams of playing, professional baseball at some point, and you found this love for, journalism and communications, and you found there were other jobs in this world of baseball that you could cross over to. Obviously, like I said, this is your 17th year in minor league baseball, and you've made a career out of it. You've done really well. What do you think led you down this path, and why have you excelled?
Well, going back to my love of baseball, one of my favorite things was going to Shea Stadium as a kid and watching baseball come alive. My dad took me to a lot of games over the years, and we loved it. And when we lived in New York, it was an easy commute to go to Shea. And when we moved to Pennsylvania, we still went, not as much. It was a little bit further, but we found minor league baseball. Growing up in the Poconos, there was a team, the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Red Barons. They were the AAA Phillies. I was not a Phillies fan, but I was a fan of minor league baseball. And we found our new love, and we went to a lot of games every year. And I just saw that minor league baseball was a lot of fun. It was very family friendly. I used to go as a 10, 11, 12-year-old and wait for autographs before the game, after the game. The players were so friendly, and I love that part of it. And as I started getting older and I was able to drive to the games, I went even more. And then when I went to college and came out of college, my first internship was in minor league baseball with the Altoona Curve. And I took all those years that I just got to go as a fan and then put it together and got to work in a minor league ballpark. And it was then on from 2004 that I knew that was really something I wanted to do. I wanted to work in minor league baseball, more so than Major League Baseball. I'd lie if I say, I wouldn't love a PR job with the Mets. I mean, if they called me tomorrow, I'd go, of course. But I love minor league baseball. I really do. And this has been a dream come true. And every time I come to the ballpark, it brings back those great memories I have of going to minor league baseball games. And back in the day when I was going in the 1990s, there were guys like Derek Jeter coming up. I saw play as a Columbus Clipper, and Chipper Jones and Jim Thome. I saw all those guys play in Moosic, Pennsylvania, with against the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Red Barons, and I just loved that. I loved being able to see players before they became big stars, and I think that was a big part of why I really liked minor league baseball.
Zach, you can probably relate to that, right? Not only here with the West Michigan Whitecaps as a kid growing up, but but then following minor league baseball throughout your life, really.
Yeah, totally. I think it definitely circles back to getting season tickets as we were little kids for the single A Whitecaps there right in our hometown. Ty and Zane, all of us going to the park and playing catch in the grass and all that. Such good core memories, as I say these days. It really circles around, and you find out what you're passionate about, and that's just kind of the path that your life takes you on. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no question about it. You want to play a couple of those questions from the other guys for Tommy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Tommy. Thanks so much for joining the podcast. One question I had for you is, when it comes to running the social media for the team, what are some of the biggest challenges you say you would face?
Well, it's funny. So, going back to my college days, I mean, and I feel old now because there wasn't social media when I was in college. Really, I mean, the majority, a lot of the stuff I do at my job here with the Knights, I didn't have in college. It was a lot of stuff that I had to learn along the way. Certainly, I mean, just going back, I mean, there wasn't smartphones. I didn't learn Photoshop or social media or website, different things like that when I was in college. So a lot of that stuff I had to learn along the way. And one of the big things that I really enjoyed during my second year with the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs was kind of taking some of the social media stuff and just running with it. And I had a lot of fun doing that. and I took what I learned and went to the Reading Phillies and did some social media there. But it wasn't really until I started with the Knights in 2012 that I was given the reins to kind of just, here you go, here's the social media, you do whatever you can, and I loved it. It's one of those things where you never turn it off. You're always looking at it, and you're always trying to keep fans engaged and up to date on stuff. Over the last couple of years, I don't do as much of it here now as I used to, but it's always been something I love. I think I started with the Knights. They had 2,000 Twitter followers, and we grew that to about 88,000 over the years. And it's a great tool to have. Social media is such a big part of what we do, keeping your fans engaged and in the know of what's going on. It's a great tool to have, and I love using it, even if it's not for the Knights, for my personal stuff too. As you said, the view from my office, I put that out there a lot, and people love it, I guess.
We sure do. All right, well, Zach, let's play the next question from Zane, if you can get that up as well.
Hey, Tommy. Sorry, couldn't make it for the call, but I'm glad you could come on the podcast. One question I had was, what has been like the biggest change in the minor league baseball land that you have seen from the start of your career to today?
That's a great question too. I mean, even just, I think a lot of things. Just going to, look at Major League Baseball now with all the new rules. Minor League Baseball over the last few years has been, the one that has really started all these rules. We go back to 2015 with a pitch clock. So a lot of these things that you're seeing now in Major League Baseball, we've been doing here in minor league baseball for a number of years. Last year, the Knights were the first team in the International League to do ABS, which is an automated ball strike system. And we saw that firsthand, and umpires and challenging and all these different things. So minor league baseball over the years has really been a lot of testing going on, which has been really fun to watch. And you see it now, how they're tweaking it and they're looking back to different things. The game has been sped up quite a bit over the years, and really it started with the minor league baseball games. So I think the on-the-field product has changed a lot thanks to a lot of these new rules. But the game of baseball here, and certainly from a family-friendly environment, has changed a lot too. Minor league baseball is a big business now. I think when I first started going to games, it maybe wasn't as big as it is now. I think there's all eyes on minor league baseball. Everybody wants to know who that next prospect is. And now you know who that next prospect is because there's so many publications out there. People read Baseball America. They want to know who that next top prospect is. So I think, to answer the question, I think there's more eyes on minor league baseball than ever before. And you're seeing that now at the major league level. You're seeing guys like Anthony Volpe make a major league roster. You're seeing guys, you're seeing so many younger guys. Oscar Colas with the White Sox, we saw here last year for 10 games. So talented. Looks like he's going to make the White Sox. So there's so many eyes on these guys, and it's almost not a surprise anymore when a prospect goes up to the majors and hits it big because people already know who he is. And to me, that's exciting, knowing what's going on at the minor league level. Fans are really engaged more now, and probably because of social media than ever before.
Yeah, that's a good point. I know that there used to be a lot of work, a lot of research in the old days. Me being a journalist,
Yeah,
I remember reading Baseball America and seeing that Frank Thomas was just tearing it up with the Birmingham Barons. And I'm like, I gotta watch this guy. Hopefully he can make it. He can stick with the team. I think he had an incredible collegiate career at Auburn, I believe it was. So I remember you had to actually read and go find this resources for it now, right? So I remember drafting him in my fantasy draft. They're like, who's Frank Thomas, right? But you had to work at it. Today, you can just go onto Twitter or social media, and then who all the top guys are. You can see clips, you can see their launch angles, whatever it is, right? And exit velocity and all these stats that are out there, and but it gets you even more excited for the game than I think back then, right? It exposes it to a wider audience.
Yeah, there's more. I mean, there's more stats than ever before. I mean, for me, I mean, I still don't know what WAR is. I mean, there's just so many different stats, but I do know what it is. But I mean, they're just to make a point. I mean, there's just so many stats, and you're right. I mean, exit velo and all these different things, and now in the press box for me, I mean, we have people that are just pulling all that stuff, for analytical purposes. And that's going right to Major League Baseball. That's going right to the White Sox. And it's important. Everybody wants to know that stuff. And, the miles per hour, the radar gun is up on the board so fans can see. We had challenge games last year where that was up on the video board. If a player challenged a pitch, you would see that in real time up on the video board. So all that stuff is not only doing it, from a behind the scenes standpoint, it's out there for the public now. And I think people are eating it up. I think they love more stats than they can get, and for me, it adds more to the job. But in the end, I mean, it's good stuff to have.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of questions we want to ask. I'll let Zach ask the last one because I want to squeeze one in here before we run out of time. Tommy, you won a pretty cool award last fall, and I was doing some research on it, and I'm like, holy cow, this guy really loves the game. Tell us a little bit about You Deserve a Chance and your Guardian of the Game award that you won last fall.
Oh, wow. Well, first off, thank you. I mean, I really appreciate it. The You Deserve a Chance Foundation has been near and dear to my heart for a number of years, since they really, really started up. And, Jeff Schaefer, who I know was a former Charlotte Knights player, gotten to become a really good friend of mine over the years. He called me one day and just shocked me, said they were going to give me an award. And I told him to check again, make sure he was calling the right Tommy Viola. It might be somebody else, but no, I mean, it was an amazing award. I certainly don't do what I do for awards. I mean, even now, just talking about it, and then I had to go up there and make a speech, which was not easy at all. I mean, they were like pushing me up on the stage. I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm just, no, I appreciate you mentioning it. It was very special. It's actually sitting on my shelf back in here somewhere.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And
oh, it happens to be right here. Yeah.
Just look at that. I mean, I am very proud of this.
You should be.
I can't thank the You Deserve a Chance Foundation enough. Jeff Schaefer, all the great people that are there.
Tommy, can you tell people real quick what the foundation is all about?
Yeah, so what they started was the game of baseball has just gotten to the point where it's very expensive to play. If you're a young kid and you don't have the means to buy a glove, or you don't have the money to buy a bat, or you think about all the equipment you need to play baseball. There's a lot, and there's a big cost to that. And that's where the You Deserve a Chance Foundation comes in. And not only for the younger younger ages, but even as kids are going through high school and college, and they're there to help out in any way they can. And they do a great job. They're based right out here in Charlotte. They've done so much. They've grown so much. They've partnered now with the Knothole Foundation. They have 3 fields at the Tuckasegee Dream Fields right here in West Charlotte. Check them out, udacf.org. There's so much more I can tell you. And just great people doing great things for the game of baseball.
That's awesome. It really is. Congratulations again, Zach. All right, I'll let you wrap things up here with Tommy. I'm sure you guys talk all the time anyway.
Well, and you see how I'm going. I could just keep talking. So you tell me, wrap it up. I mean, anytime.
So opening day is this upcoming Friday for the Charlotte Knights. And one major thing that the Knights did this past offseason was a full rebrand. New logos, new colors, the whole shebang. Yep, wearing it right there on your chest. I guess kind of take us behind the curtain a little bit, because there's a lot that goes into a rebrand. And we see it so much nowadays. 1, 2, 3, maybe even 5 teams are, making their whole new logo and team name every offseason, it feels like. What was that like? How long did it take? How many meetings and phone calls did you have to do? What was the process? Tell us a little bit how it all went down.
Yeah, well, no, that's a great question. I mean, it's a big process. It's a big thing to undertake. I mean, when you're changing a logo, you're changing your brand, your colors. I mean, there's just so much. And going back to 2013, as we were getting ready to go into Uptown at the Truist Field, we changed our logo then, and it was very well received. We're moving from Fort Mill to Uptown Charlotte, and it was very important at that time for us to rebrand and to come up with new colors. So we did that for the first time, and it was successful. But after now going into our 10th year, we thought it was time to freshen things up a little bit, and that's exactly what we did. Not only did we change the logo, but we changed our colors, which was a big change for us. We kept the gold and some of the silver, but we added blue, which is a big color and synonymous with the city of Charlotte. You look at the Panthers, you look at now the Charlotte FC, even the Hornets to a certain extent with their teal and blue. So we wanted to match more of what the city had to offer. You think of like in Pittsburgh, the Steelers, the Penguins. You think of some of these cities that do match. So we wanted to do that. So you're right, Zach. I mean, there was a lot of things that had to go on. There were meetings. We had to meet with the person that created our logo, which was a big process. And David C. Ruckman of David C. Ruckman Creative put a great logo together. We love it. There's a lot to do when you're changing a logo. You're changing everything out the stadium. We have a team store that has all new merchandise. It was a big undertaking, but we look at it as it was time for a fresh look, and we're excited. We're excited when fans come through this ballpark on Friday night and see it really in person for the first time. So we're excited the way it's turned out. I think we hope the fans are going to like it. We see a lot of new hats and shirts around the city of Charlotte, so that makes us happy. And it's going to be a great year. We're really looking forward to it.
Your ballpark is always so busy. I mean, I love that you're doing these college games there. I love that winter event that we went to, right, Zach?
Yeah, that's right.
Did you go ice skating or did you go snow tubing? What did you do, Mr. Gonzalez?
I watched the kids having fun. How about that? No, I
That's
did.
smart. That's
I did,
my kids brought me on the ice and I lasted maybe 2 minutes and I was off. I couldn't do it, but
I will tell you this though. I love your mascot. I think Homer the Dragon is one of the top mascots in all of sports. I know that I have a granddaughter or two that happen to love him as well. But one of the things that caught my attention, I didn't realize this. I didn't realize that Homer is actual firefighter too.
oh yeah, well he did put out a fire at one time across the street over by the park over here. Picked up some media coverage on that one.
I mean, there was a photo shoot going on in your team store, right? And there's a fire
Yep.
across the street, and he runs over there, and the dragon usually, starts fire. He's putting it out.
Oh, he helped put it out all right, and I think he was really happy about that. So
But that's part of the game, right? That's just part of the fun.
it is, and you're right. I mean, for us, I mean, and as I said earlier, minor league baseball is family friendly entertainment, and we strive to do our best. The it's not always about wins and losses. Certainly not in minor league baseball. It's more about the atmosphere. Come out, enjoy a bark in the ballpark game, enjoy fireworks, all the great promotions that we have to offer, and watch a baseball game in the process. So it's a great atmosphere.
Well, Tommy underscore the underscore V on Twitter.
It's me.
Where can people get more information if they want to come out and see a game? They want to meet you or meet Zach at the ballpark, get your autographs. Where can they get more information about what's happening at the ballpark?
Well, if they want to meet Zach, should I give out his cell phone number?
Sure.
We have all of our information on charlottenights.com. It's up to date. You'll get all of ticket information, our promotional calendar. You'll get our roster here in the next couple of days. So you get all of our information on our website. Of course, all of our social media platforms as well. And a lot of good stuff happening this week as we open up our 10th season in Uptown Charlotte. And we hope you come out and enjoy a game.
All right. Zach,
Awesome.
you want to wrap it up for us?
Yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in for today's podcast. Thank you, Tommy, for being here, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.
See you guys.
Thank you.